Hey, Dustin, it's Joe Bouchard.
Hey man, how you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good.
Well, I gotta say, first, thank you so much for joining me today. It's an honor speaking with you.
Hey, it's my pleasure. I'm out there promoting my new song, my new album, and the response has been great. So I'm glad to talk to you.
Excellent. Let's talk about the new one here, Strange Legends. Can you tell the listeners a bit about the new album?
It's my sixth solo album. I've been doing this for about maybe a decade or so, and doing my own production. But this is the best one. They seem to be getting better and better all the time. So I'm excited about that. The material is really strong. I wrote a lot of the songs, but also I had some of my friends write the other songs, and the single that just came out is doing great. It's called "Forget About Love," and so far it's getting a great response. I hope you like it because I really think it's my best one yet. So
Yeah, you mentioned, of course, a lot of folks know you from your work with Blue Oyster Cult, but Strange Legends, you said your sixth solo album. I mean, you've definitely been busy.
yeah, I've been busy. I was in Blue Oyster Cult for 16 years. Played the bass on almost all of the Columbia recordings, all the hit songs. It's definitely my bass playing on those songs. But I left so that I could become a guitar player, and because I really love guitar. I mean, we are really lucky with the catalog of songs that we did with Blue Oyster Cult. I can't believe they're still as popular today. They're even more popular in a lot of places than they were when they came out. So I thank the Lord for that. And it allows me to finance solo albums and things like that. So, yeah, it's all good.
Well, who's playing with you on the new album, Joe? Is it, you mentioned you wrote.
Most of it is myself, but I enlisted this amazing drummer, Mr. Mickey Curry, who is the drummer with Bryan Adams, the Canadian superstar. Amazing drummer. I just happened to meet his brother at a local performance here, and he said, "Hey, you should get a hold of my brother." He's played on. He's got like 40 gold records. He played on the Cult, Sonic Temple. I think that was that. He played with Alice Cooper on Feed My Frankenstein. Played with Hall and Oates on Maneater. A tremendous drummer, and so I had some really great sessions in the studio with him. And also my partner, Joan Levy-Hepburn, plays guitar on a couple of tracks and sings some of the harmonies. But most of it is me. I started calling myself a multi-instrumentalist recently because I do play a lot of different instruments. And I got to play trumpet. I haven't played trumpet since high school, but I dusted off the old brass, and I've been really getting into that these days. So, but I do all the keyboards, and for the Blue Oyster Cult fans that haven't heard in years, and they miss my bass playing, I play all the bass on this album. So it really is a home production, basically, that really doesn't sound like home production. You can just do so much with technology these days, and I love diving into all the things that are available these days, and you can make a great sounding record. Plus, I had it professionally mastered, and I think the artwork came out really great. The artwork was done by a high school student who happens to be a student of my girlfriend. I've known him since he was 10 years old. He's just this great illustrator with a great imagination. So, the whole package is just fantastic. And we got ourselves a record deal for distribution and started our own record label with my brother. We have our own record label this year called Rock Heart Records. So I'm really happy the way things are turning out on this album. I think it's going to be a really make some big waves, not only with the old Blue Öyster Cult fans, but also, people are just looking for good rock music. There's not enough of that.
Yeah, that's great. Everything it came together the way it did, and I wanted to ask you about Rock Hard Records and how that came about, and I guess why you decided to create it. Is it better for you guys to be able to?
Well, my brother was the drummer in Blue Öyster Cult, and he was with the band for almost all the Columbia records, and a major contributor to the songwriting, and he was the arranger on all the early songs because he just has a knack for putting together songs, and but he left the band, and then I left the band, and we've been working on our own for the last 20 years. And finally this year we found a guy who wanted to manage us. So we went through the process of signing with a manager, this guy Jeff Keller from California, and he said, you guys should have your own record label to really to point up, all the talent that we still are able to eke out in our, I would say, mature years, and and to feed off of all the good things that we did with Blue Öyster Cult, but also to give us a platform to get our new recordings out there. My record will be coming out the end of July, and his record comes out in October. It's a really good solo album. I helped him on a couple of tracks on that. And then we have plans for a few other projects after that, maybe a live album. We already recorded half of a live album, so we just got to record the other half. And then we have a couple other projects down the line that we're going to get to. So it's great to have a way to get our recordings out there that'll be seen by more people and heard by more people.
Awesome, yeah. Again, Strange Legends is out, and Joe, I wanted to ask you your memories of touring with Black Sabbath on the Black and Blue tour. I just watched that concert
You
film
were
again.
there?
No, I wasn't there, but I watched the movie the other day again.
You've heard the legends. Oh, yes, you've heard the legends, the strange legends of those days. Oh, that was really great. I must say it was really great. We didn't really get along with Black Sabbath that well, but it was the biggest tour of the year. I mean, it was like Taylor Swift big. We did stadiums, we did arenas, big crowds every night. What we did, it was a co-headline tour that our manager set up, original manager, Sandy Pearlman, and he was managing Black Sabbath at the same time. So he thought it was a really good fit to do this, became the Black and Blue tour. And it's the stuff of legends. We had some rowdy crowds, but every night was, and it'd be like a competition between Blue Öyster Cult and Black Sabbath, who could be the better band that night, So, yeah, a lot of people still talk about that, the biggest tour of the year. I mean, it was like Rolling Stones or McCartney. We were in that league in that year of 1980 when we did that tour. So, we're just lucky to be able to hit some very big venues, and I get fan mail all the time. Every day I get notes from people that say, "Hey, do you remember the Black and Blue tour?" Sure. And your hearing is still working? It was loud. Oh, it was loud. But we had a lot of fun.
Awesome. Yeah, it's as you mentioned, your time with Blue Öyster Cult still still on the radio today, and everybody loves the group. And
it's amazing. I thought when I joined the band, and my goal was to be as popular as the movie Prince. They were a band on Columbia. And they had a few, kind of mildly successful. And, people revere them now. But that was it. If we lasted 3 years, I thought that would be amazing. And here we are. And I don't know, it's over 40 years. The music's been around, and people still talk about it and play it. And, I mean, they do tremendous numbers on streaming. I think it's about 4 million listens a month. So if you add that up to a year, you're talking about major interest in the old music that we created. So unbelievable. My grandson says, Pop, are you a billionaire? You have to be. You were in the Blue Öyster Cult. It's funny what the kids say.
All that being mentioned, it's amazing to me that you're still not in the Rock Hall of Fame. Does that bother you, or does that mean anything to you? Or
it doesn't really bother me. I play with Dennis Dunaway in a band called Blue Coupe, and Dennis was one of the founders of the Alice Cooper Band. And I think in 2011, maybe it was, he was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and it was a big thing for him. But I've never felt like it was that was never my goal. If they will probably recognize us at some time. But every year there's more people that are worthy, it's all a matter of opinion, But it would be a nice honor. I would not turn it down. I would not be like the Sex Pistols and send a nasty note. But it will happen at some time, and I hope it happens so that my grandkids can actually see it happen, But it's all good. It's all good. I'm feeling really energetic with this new album. Yeah.
Well, it seems like things are on hold now for the most part as far as live music, but would you be maybe hitting the road with this new album if things get back to normal?
I hope so. As soon as I get the word, I am ready to go. And I feel that there's a pent-up demand. People just miss their... We're actually negotiating for drive-in. It won't be the same as when you're packed into a room and everybody's, shoulder to shoulder, and their fists are in the air and they're all singing along with the songs. That's really what I think people miss, is that thing where you can just, jump up and down and sing along with your favorite songs. So as soon as that opens, we'll be there. We'll definitely be there. We had a great gig booked in Sweden, and this May, and it was a cruise. It was a cruise boat. We were the headliners. It was great money. We had to cancel it. They ended up canceling this famous cruise from Stockholm to Helsinki. It wasn't a long cruise, but they couldn't. The cruise industry's taken a big hit with the virus. So I don't know, but there's always next year, and so we are looking into it.
Excellent. Well, again, Strange Legends is out, and Joe, is there anything else maybe in the works or something else we should look out for coming up?
I just want everybody to look it up and ask your favorite radio station to play the single. There's another single coming out in July called "She's a Legend," which I'm very happy with. It's more in the Blue Öyster Cult vein than "Forget About Love." "Forget About Love" is kind of a hard rock pop song, but "She's a Legend" it gets a little bit more into this sort of science fiction, bizarre story and everything. The lyrics are written by John Shirley, who's a science fiction writer, and he writes a lot of the lyrics for the current Blue Öyster Cult. And he's very prolific. He sent me some lyrics, and I said, I got to do this song. It's really good. So So that's coming up in July. And then there's a couple other songs on there. There's a Kinks cover. I have an instrumental called Racing Through the Desert, which I really like. The whole album is really, really tight from top to bottom. It's a couple of great ballads, really emotional ballads. So they'll be all out there on the airwaves before long. I'm confident.
Awesome, man. I'm a huge fan of yours, and the new album sounds great. Thank you so much for your time today, Joe.
Well, thank you for your time, and I hope to get out your way. And where are you, in Minnesota?
Yep, in Minnesota.
Yeah, I played there a lot. Played the Taste of Minnesota a few years ago. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, that was only about maybe 5 years ago. But we'll be back your way, so I hope to see you then.
All right, sounds good. Thanks a lot, Joe.
All right, thanks a lot. Yeah, bye-bye.
And again, that was the one and only Joe Bouchard from Blue Öyster Cult, and his new solo album, Strange Legends, is out now on Rock Hard Records.